Microsoft founder Bill Gates says he does not want to die a rich man. So I asked him if there was a moment that made him decide to give away 99% of his vast fortune over the next 20 years.
Well, I'll be turning 70 this year, and it's the 25th anniversary of the foundation. So I've been thinking for the last couple of years, what do we do given the unbelievable results that the world has had on reducing childhood deaths, which has been our foundation partnered with others. How do we double down on that and really end a lot of these diseases, things like polio, malaria, and really take advantage of this incredible opportunity?
See, those are big sort of policy practical wins. But if we look around the world right now, rich countries are cutting back on their spending on supporting poor countries. Do you feel like you've lost that argument?
Well, I don't think the idea of being against children dying, I don't think that's out of favor. The basic golden rule of treating people well, the benefits of having these health systems be strong so that they can stop pandemics before they go global. The world's not poor and the values of the world haven't changed.
You've said that Elon Musk's cuts that he's made to USAID are killing millions of children. Why do you think he's content to do that?
Well, I'm devoting my life since 2008 to understanding children's deaths and going out to those countries and seeing the heroes out there in the field doing the work. We had to have a partnership with the U.S. government, with the U.K. government, that delivery financing, it's all of us coming together in partnership that's had those results. As we get less resources, yes, more children will die. And so for the first time, instead of the numbers going down, they're now going to go up. The same thing for HIV deaths, they're going to go up. And so let's, take the resources we have and get them back to where they should be as quick as we can.
Elon Musk, it seems, is on his way out from the Trump administration. If you got into the White House in front of Donald Trump and looked him in the eye, what's your message to him?
Well, I had a chance to meet with him, but not since February. I think Donald Trump, the executive branch, the Congress, they won't go with these dramatic cuts. My goal would be that the cuts would be pretty modest, and so that the moral purpose, the leadership, the alliances that come out of the global health work, that those will be maintained, and we can drive the 5 million deaths a year down to cut that in half again.
You talk about trying to get those down to modest cuts. Clearly part of this has been driven by politics. If you look in America, and we hear the same thing in the UK, when times are tough and the cost of living crisis and people have seen their tax bills going up, can you understand at least why some people will say charity begins at home? They wonder when their own public services at home aren't working, why millions, billions of pounds or dollars might be going around the world. Can you at least understand why some people listening to our conversation might feel that?
Well, if this was a substantial part of the government's budget, say 5%, then you'd feel like, okay, you could take that 5% and do 5% better. My personal view is that because it's less than 2% of the budget, the idea of helping the very poorest in the world, that all the rich countries coming together at a level like that, we've seen what it can achieve. We've seen the cost when you don't stop pandemics where they get started. So I'm an advocate for that 2%. And, we're well below that with the cuts that have been made. And I think we should get back to that level.
We're talking about reducing that money. That's been your focus. Here in the UK, we had 0.7% being spent on foreign aid. It went down to 0.5%. It's now 0.3%. What's your message to Keir Starmer?
Well, obviously, he's responsive to the voters. I'm not a UK voter. I can testify that every pound spent for Global Fund and Gavi is extremely well spent, and that's why I'm putting my money in, and that's why we've seen the incredible results. You know, the budget's the result of a political process. We were very surprised at the reduction of the 0.5 because up until then people had said, okay, we're going to get back to 0.7. And, you know, just to say, okay, less vaccines for the defense budget, that caught us by surprise. And we're hoping that the voters will say, no, we're proud of the UK at 0.5 or even slightly more than that.
I mean, you're using the word surprised. I get the sense that probably you were pretty angry about what you consider to be a mistake.
I don't think anger comes into it, but you know, I know if the kids who are dying were in your neighborhood, this wouldn't happen. It's because they're far away that it's easy to think it's very, very abstract. And so, you know, people aren't aware of the positive news, how much, you know, UK generosity got us cut those deaths in half. And, you know, they may not be aware that if you go from 0.5 to 0.3, that is going to result in lots and lots of additional deaths.
Bill Gates, thanks so much for joining us tonight on Newsnight.